Point of order, Sir Nicholas Soames.
Speaker, I rise on a very serious matter indeed to ask you whether you have had any request from the honourable gentleman, the member for West Bromwich East, to seek your permission for him to make a personal statement apologising for the way in which he has so vilely traduced the late Lord Britton, and further for him to have a chance to apologise to Lord Britton's dignified and courageous widow.
Well, I'm grateful to the right honourable gentleman for his point of order. The short answer is that I have had no such request, and it is incumbent upon each member to take responsibility for his or her statements within this House. There is a wider obligation, of course, to comply with the expectations and requirements of the Code of Conduct, which applies to all members. However, the honourable gentleman is signalling to me that he would like to respond to what has been said, and it is right that he should have the opportunity to do so. Mr. Tom Watson.
Mr. Speaker, I understand that honourable and right honourable members feel aggrieved that Leon Britton was interviewed by the police and that they're angry with my use of language. But I'm sure they'd also agree that when anyone is accused of multiple sexual crimes by numerous completely unrelated sources, the police have a duty to investigate, no matter who it is. My letter was prompted by Jane's concern that procedures were not followed. It's not for me to judge the validity of these claims, but I believe I was right to demand that guidelines were adhered to. I also believe that very many victims in this country have been too terrified to speak out for too long. And it's not all over just because a few famous people have gone to prison. And it hasn't all got out of hand just because people in high places are scared. The survivors of child abuse have been belittled and ridiculed for too long. That's the real scandal here. Earlier, the Prime Minister has said that I should examine my conscience. Well, I think we all need to examine our consciences in this House. We've presided over a state of affairs where children have been abused and then ignored, dismissed and then disdained. If anyone deserves an apology, it's them.
Order. This is not an occasion for a debate on this matter, and to be fair, I don't think any member would expect such, but the right honourable gentleman has perfectly properly raised his point of order, and I thank him for the terms in which he's done so, and the honourable gentleman member for West Bromwich East has responded, and we must now leave it there and proceed with our next parliamentary business. I trust that it is on a wholly unrelated point of order.
It is on a point of general principle, Mr. Speaker.
No. Order. The honourable gentleman must resume his seat. Resume his seat. If the honourable gentleman was seeking to raise a totally unrelated point of order, that is to say, not related to anything that we have just covered and upon which I have given a definitive ruling, I would hear him. But I rather suspect from the prevarication that it was not totally unrelated. The honourable gentleman... Order. The honourable gentleman will speak when I give him the opportunity and not before. If the honourable gentleman has his opportunity, he better not be a chancer, and he better not fluff it.
I'm hoping, Mr. Speaker, you will give guidance to members as to what is the proper means of raising legitimate areas of concern with public authorities, so as to ensure that legitimate matters which shall properly be raised, which concern all members of this House, are not done so in such a way as might appear to impinge upon the independence of the judicial and investigatorial process. Can you give guidance to it?
Well, the honourable gentleman is kind. The honourable gentleman I've known for many years, and he's always been kind. But I think that he somewhat overinterprets my brief and my wisdom. I don't think it is for the chair in this House to counsel members as to how to proceed in matters of this kind. What I would say is we have as citizens the same rights as everybody else. In respect of our membership of this House, we have certain additional freedoms and privileges which must be exercised with great care. We also have responsibilities, and I reference those, as the honourable gentleman would acknowledge, with particular regard to the Code of Conduct. Now, I know that the honourable gentleman is only ever seeking to be helpful, but I hope that he is either content or will at any rate today satisfy himself with my response. We'll leave it there. If there are no further points of order and the appetite has been fully satisfied, we come now to backbench business and to the first of